SEO versus CRO, website heat mapping for businesses. Welcome to the Marketing Club. You are so welcome to the We Don't Play podcast show. This is a great time, and you're also on Clubhouse live with me, Favour Obasi Ike. And I'm here with you today to talk about some really exciting things that sometimes we don't really think about, but these are the very same things that we need. Right? There's so many things that we think about, but it's also some of the things that we actually need. So when I'm thinking about what we need as business owners, one of the major things that I always get to see is that we always need more content, right? We always need more content, if I can put it like that. But we also need a lot of content so that we can connect with the people who are actually in a position to be helped, right? So there's some things that we have to pretty much break down, because there's some things that I believe that if we just look a little deeper, a little further, a little longer, a little more intentionally, there are a lot of things that we can definitely be excited about and grateful for, and definitely, more importantly, be aware of, right? There's so many things that as a business owner we have to think about, and I believe this is the time for us to really understand and ask ourselves, what are we doing with our content, and how do we actually make sure that we are optimizing content for the right reasons, right? And we're optimizing content for web pages, for search engines, for AI bots. Like, the list is endless. So we're going to dive deep in today, and I'll tell you about a platform, a product that you should have. It's like I always, talk about Google Search Console. This is also one platform that you should definitely have in your arsenal, right? Have things that would help you convert traffic, convert conversations, and also convert the people that you're trying to connect with. It's not easy. It's not easy to consistently show up online trying to be there for everyone, but also not sure what everyone needs, or the people that you're actually helping, what do they actually need. So this is a very important question. And I believe one of the major things that will start to happen is your content will also start to change, right? You're going to start noticing different things with your content, and you start looking at the activity of how people actually relate with your content. This would be something that will definitely help you, in the long run. So we're going to dive deep into this today. But before we do, wanted to say hello to you, Ryan. Welcome to the room. And John, what's going on? How are you?
Well, hello, hello. Yes, things are good. I saw you open this room, so I'll pop in here, say hello. What I missed when I was joining on stage, it cut out. What was the uh suggestion? What tool do we need? What was the tool?
Oh, I hadn't mentioned it yet.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm looking for. I just found a new tool that I think everybody should have also. So I have a suggestion also, but I'm waiting to hear yours. So, um, yeah, go ahead.
Let's go. Let's do this. Let's make this happen. Okay, I'll talk about mine, and then I'd love you to hear yours too. Because of the room today, I wrote this topic, and this is a topic I've been planning to talk about for a long time. And out of the 72 topics that we have for the year, because this is something that I actually got to jot down when I was when I was on a 12-hour flight, and I've not even exhausted all the topics. So we're just pretty much scraping the surface. And I said today would be a great day to talk about this, because that's what I've been doing with clients all week. And I said, you know what? Sometimes it's good to know these things, but there's a difference between understanding like everybody can have a toolbox, but not everyone's going to know how to use a toolbox smart, efficiently, and effectively. So, I mean, the tool is free. So, freely is it given to you, freely you give back, freely you receive, freely you give. So, I'm going to break down how you can use heat mapping. There are different platforms that are out there. You can just Google heat mapping websites or heat mapping tools for websites, right? You'll find a ton of them. So the one I've been using myself, which I've been using for clients, I've been using this for, businesses, both small and large companies, is Microsoft Clarity. It's a free platform, a free tool that you can use, especially when you connect your website to Bing Webmasters. At the very bottom of the left side, you'll see Microsoft Clarity there. So you can Google it or just find it within your Bing Webmaster Toolbox and install it. It doesn't hurt to install it. Sometimes the installation is the hard part, but once you get over that part, it's like, once the tooth is out, that's it, right? You don't have to worry about everything else. You might feel pain, but eventually, things will start to grow, things will start to happen. So it's the same thing with your website. If you have a website and you don't have a heat map, it's going to be hard for you to tell what kind of things are happening on your website. And I'm so happy to talk about this now, and I felt like this is more of a better time to talk about it than it was maybe 3 years ago, because I didn't think people were ready to understand or even take that information in, because I was like, okay, this is going to be a little bit complicated, but now, I love that people are very savvy, at least the ones that have been listening about SEO marketing and all this great stuff, because there's a lot of stuff out there, right? Now with heat maps, when you go to clarity.microsoft.com or you just type in Microsoft Clarity on Google, you'll get that information there. Now, with the heat map, this is why I love the heat map. Inside that heat map, when you get it under heat maps, there are four sections that I'm going to talk about today, because I don't want to, go too long into this, but I want to just focus on where the actual heat map is, because there are other tools and features you can actually connect, like recordings. Make sure you have your analytics connected. Make sure you do IP blocking. Make sure you just do a lot of technical things to set up, right? When you set this up and then you now look at your console, right? You look at your Google Search Console, see what's going on there. You look at your Microsoft Bing Webmaster Tools dashboard, see what's happening there. See your analytics. For some people use Matomo. We've installed Matomo for some large companies as well. Because Google Analytics, yes, video is there, but and of course Google. Hey Leslie, welcome. It's been a while. Good to have you here. you know, Google, of course, owns YouTube, right? So why would YouTube not rank within the video pages and everything within analytics? It's a little bit of like a dichotomy in a way, but with Matomo, you can actually track videos, track timestamps, track a lot of things that will help you know what's going on with the video analytics section, which GFO will not give you as robustly, because Matomo is also more privately owned and Google is free. So you have to pay for Matomo. So Microsoft Clarity is free, right? And when you have a free tool like this, yes, it's great to have all this information, right? But I also feel too that long term, your business should also start seeing a lot of momentum when you start looking at the platforms that you're actually gaining popularity on. Because you look at your Google Search Console, right? And it will tell you this page, this appearance, this and that. By the way, for those of you who haven't heard about this tool called SEO Gets, please get it. I got to talk with the founder, co-founder, and on the We Don't Play podcast show. And this is when it was early stages. Not everyone still knows about it yet, but because Google only gives you 1,000 rows, Google Search Console gives you 1,000 rows. Think about it. A platform like Google that has over 200 billion gigabytes, right, of data, right, in their reserve. is only giving you 1,000 rows for intellectual property. I mean, it's a free platform, so it makes sense. They won't give you everything. But imagine how much depth you could go when you start getting actual information about platforms and all the good things that you can actually do. Mo Dub, welcome to the room. It's been a minute. Glad to have you here. So you look at your top pages on your Google Search Console. It will tell you to tell you all these pages, right? Now, on the heat map side, it's also going to tell you the pages that are actually driving traffic the most. So let's say, right, you're writing articles, because a lot of people write articles, right? And you could use ChatGPT, you can use Claude, you could use whatever, and you write your articles, right? That doesn't stop there. That's just first drafts. Like you don't get a movie script on the first draft and then shoot the film. That first draft is not going to be that's not the director's cut. So you think about the long-term effect of this long-term plan. And then when you think about heat mapping, you want to know which pages on my site have I gotten a lot of heat mapping from, right? Now, when you look at those pages, it tells you, okay, this is what people are looking for. This is how they are scrolling. This is where they're going. There are 4 sections. There used to be 3, but they added a 4th one. And I was like, okay, now it's time to talk about this. There are 4 sections in the Microsoft Clarity heat map section, right? Whenever you look at your activity going on, either from mobile or I can say mobile computer tablet, you're going to see different things. Now, there are 4 types: there's click, there's scroll, there's attention, there's area. I call that CSAA, right? When you look at these 4 sections, it tells you exactly what's going on where. Because when you have a website, right? Because we build websites too. When websites are built, that's it. Like I always tell our clients and I tell our community too that yes, it's good to have a website, right? Because there's a difference between building a website and maintaining a website, right? When you're building a website, there's nothing to do technically because there's no technical damage, right? But when you have a business that is also thriving in creating content on a website that is going to drive traffic, then the way you're going to write on that page is going to be very different, right? So when somebody goes to your website and they see click, right, that means where do they click on your website? How far do they click? Do they even click through to the website, right? When they click, where are they clicking? How is their mouse moving, right? When people are moving on the screen, your mouse is moving. A lot of people don't. I think that's the most underrated thing on a computer. The mouse. It's the most underrated thing on the computer. Feature, asset, whatever you want to call it. It's the most underrated option because you look at the mouse and that's where everything goes. If you want to click here, if you want to scan, if you want to read, everything is using the mouse. Some people even buy an external mouse just or third party, drive to help with the mouse because there's a lot of information that you can get from clicking. So if you're going to a website that actually has information about clicking, then it's easy for you to know, okay, this website is actually clicking here. People are clicking on this side of the site. People are clicking on this side of the site. If I have a website and I know that this website is driving traffic, then I know, okay, in the last 30 days, where have I been connecting with people the most? How am I connecting people even better? Like right now, for me, one of the top 5 pages that I see, I'm looking at my heat map right now. The number 4 on the list, which is very surprising, is best AI video generators. I'm going to open that. So when you look at your articles, sometimes when you write articles, you write things, you don't know what people are actually paying attention to, right? Then when you start realizing that you can actually see that people are reading your content and you realize, oh, wow, people are spending a lot of time on this platform, then it tells you exactly how much you want people to see. Now, I'll give you an example. Now, the article that I'm referring to, in fact, I'm going to put the link for you at the top because this link is to the website, but I'm thank God for Apple. You just copy and paste. So let me do this really quickly so you guys can see this. Okay, let's see.
While you're doing that
Bingo.
favor,
Let's
while you're
go.
doing that favor, you guys, you guys are seriously getting some gold here. And if it doesn't like all gel and make sense, just listen to it again. But it's the tool that he seriously the tool that you mentioned, Favor, uh, is the one that I was going to tell you about because I've been in that tool and I've been digesting it. I've been outlining it. I've been SOPing it. If anyone doesn't know what SOP is, standard operating procedure. Like, so it's like it's like a checklist, a step by step checklist of how to do this. And here's the thing: this is not even my room, but Favor's a good dude. He's a good buddy. He's a good friend. So if anybody needs a like checklist or SOP on finding secret keywords in your GSC or Google Search Console, just message me. Find me online. I'll send it over to you. The tool that he mentioned, if you don't mind me saying, is that okay? Yeah, it's called SEO Gets, like GETS, SEO Gets. And here's the best part: it is free up until you have a certain level of traffic. So if you have like a super big site, you have to pay for it. But most of my clients are free, and it's amazing. It's definitely amazing. Go ahead. I'm done.
No,
The
thank
the
you.
it.
Thank you. Hey,
How's it
Ryan.
going, guys?
Good. What's going on?
I just woke up, having coffee in bed, and trying to wean myself over this hangover.
Are you in Pacific?
Yeah, California. But I've
Oh,
got two
okay.
little ones, so this is absolutely like unacceptable behavior for a grown man. But here we are, Wednesday. No, shit, Wednesday. It's Thursday. Oh man, I really do have a problem, don't I?
Welcome, Ryan. Glad to have you here. I see Mo's here too. Marcus is here. What's up, Mo? Where have you been, man? Like you just literally left the app and you uninstalled the application and just said, you know what? I'm not coming back to Clubhouse. And you come back like, okay, now it's time to come back, and then boom, you pull up. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, brother? Yeah, man. Shit, what's it been like 2 years or something like that? Like when they changed the format, I just didn't like it. And so what happened that originally brought me back like maybe a month or so ago, somebody actually sent me an invite to a room. And I was like in my text message, I was like, what? People still on Clubhouse? So I came back and I looked around and it seemed more like the original version. And I was like, you know what? Let me start going back on Clubhouse. But I've been very inconsistent with that. So I'm trying to get back in the groove. And, it gave me a thing. It gave me a notification that you had this room. So I was like, hey, shit, I got to go check out my man Favorite. So here I am.
Appreciate you, man. Good to have you back. And definitely, the app has definitely changed. A lot has changed, but it's great to have you here, man. John, you want to say something before we go to Marcus?
Oh, I was just gonna say, hey Mo, yeah, good to see you, man.
Yeah. I sent you a message, man. I want to get that guide, man. I'm
Yeah,
always interested in learning new shit. So,
yeah. I mean, this
that
thing.
was perfect.
I mean, I'm like legitimately excited about this tool because it really does open the gates of data information for somebody, and it's free to sign up. I actually, Favor, I actually met the how I found out about it. I met the owner, Matt, at uh, Brighton SEO, which was in San Diego last fall. And by the way, if anyone wants to go to a really cool SEO conference, it's happening in September this year, obviously, in San Diego. It's Brighton SEO. It's a huge conference, a lot of connections, big time networking. But anyways, yeah, it's like legit. There was the thing that I'm really excited about is that they have a the way that you can pull the data and understand the data is key, right? So like if you have clients or if it's your own uh, website with your own data, you can download all the different keywords and look at them in a way where it's going to make sense. Like if anyone knows what a striking distance keyword is, um, you can do striking distance reports, right? And the reason that's important is because then you can figure out what keyword you can move forward. So if you don't know what a striking distance keyword is, typically, now this could vary for your definition, but typically it's anywhere a keyword that's ranking number 7 through 25. Now someone might say, it's 10 through 20 or whatever. But anyways, it's those keywords that are right on the cusp of ranking. And so you can download and look at all these different keywords. Like I have a client who has 3,000 keywords in their GSE, in their Google Search Console. So we can quickly look at, okay, hey, here's a keyword that's a position 11. What do we need to do to move that from 11 to number 1, 2, or 3? And so if anybody wants that report, I'd be happy to. It's not a report, it's just like a guide, if you will. Kind of gives you clarity. So you have to send me your email. I'm not going to track you down or whatever, but send me your email. I'll send it to you. And if you send me a private message on here, I'm not going to respond because I'm not going to send it to you on there on here. You got to send me an email. I'm sorry. Anyways, back to you, Favor. Sorry.
Hey, real quick, John, can I ask a question? I mean, so I'm looking at this website. It looks like an interesting tool, but what, as far as the difference between this and connecting your website to SEMrush through the GSC, is it kind of a similar platform, just cheaper?
Yeah, that's a great question. So yeah, it's free, right? So for websites that I think it's the certain traffic variable, like so if it's over amount of traffic, which the reason that is because he gets charged for data storage.
Hmm.
Um, but um, I like it just because of the simplicity and it uses the API, so you can get that extra 50,000 rows. But to answer your question, what the difference is, I can't because I actually don't use the other platform.
Okay.
I mean, I have used the other platform, but I mean, this is like just super simplistic. Favor, do you know the difference?
Yeah, I've actually used both of them, and you're right. Matt is an amazing person. I got to meet him. This was like early days of SEO Gets, and he found me through the Google search because when we had a call on the podcast, he was like, "Oh, I saw this. You did an article about it," and I was like, "Yeah," because not many people knew about it. This was like last year, like August. So with SEMrush, yes, you can connect your Google Search Console and all the good stuff there, but the difference is with SEO Gets, it gives you way more than the Search Console gives because one, Search Console is free, but you have to connect your Search Console to Google so that you can use SEO Gets from Google because you have to connect your Google Search Console anyway when you connect it. So it gives you more insights about your website. It allows you to know what kind of content is growing, what's popular, and also what's decaying because you can also have content decay. And that's what really sold it for me because there was another platform back in 21 that used to focus on content decaying. And then they lost, I think they just ran out of business or I don't know what happened. They were no longer available on the web. And I was like, darn it, I can't find anybody else. Then these guys came around and they've changed everything. So they have way more insights. You can get to see your queries by counting. Like how with SEMrush, you get to see like what's position 1 to 3.
Hmm.
You can get to see all those things. Now you can get to see what your positions are on your website from the console, and you're able to track that from position 1 through 21 plus. Then you know how it gives you branded clicks and branded non-branded stuff. That's based on the keywords that they have in their database. Now on SEO Gets, you get the same thing, but now for your intellectual property. So it will tell you you have 5% branded clicks, you have 300 of non-branded clicks. It tells you the countries, it tells you what you're ranking for the first time. It also gives you a way to even annotate. If you want to annotate, it gives you that as well. There's a content decay map. There's so much you can do. Like even John said with the striking distance keywords, you can think about how to have a benchmark for your click through rate. So for I think as low as how much did they do it right now? I think it's like
50
19
bucks.
bucks. Yeah, 15. Yeah, that's a no brainer for your intellectual property, especially if you can go in there and actually get the information out, put it on your website, and then start reading the reports. it just helps you long term. And that's what I've been using since, I got to know about them last year. And they're definitely a great tool to use, especially if you're trying to figure out what's going on as well. Because the free tool gives you access to 16 months. When you look at the Google Search Console, it only goes back to 16 months. But with SEO Gets, it gives you up to 5 years. So the difference is huge. You get to know exactly what's going on your website for the last 5 years. So if I'm paying for anything, I would be paying for my intellectual property because that is something I own as an asset and I can use that for equity and branding in the future. So when I think about investments, this would be an investment, especially if you have content out there. Does that help, Ryan?
Sort of. I'm gonna have to check it out. I see they have a 7-day free trial, so I'll throw my credit card in and hook it up and see if there's any additional insights that I'm getting. The content decay kind of, that stuff could be valuable. I've got a site that I started a little SaaS back in November that has taken off, and I'm making a few $100 a day on autopilot. So I kind of want to expand on that. And I'm not ranking number one too, so I think that if I was ranking number one for some of these terms, it would pay dividends. But
Ryan,
I
I don't know the everything about your business, but it sounds like your particular website would be free.
I'm getting. I did see it says only up to 1,000 clicks a month, and I'm getting roughly 20,000 clicks a month right now. So I'm gonna have to
Oh,
pay, I think.
okay.
But
Oh, okay.
but I mean, either way, it's 7-day free trial and $50. It's like if I
Yeah.
wasted $50 on other stuff dumber than that. So
Yeah,
it's
well,
worth checking out.
if you want to connect or something, I'll show you. Like, you can connect it, and then we can jump on a Zoom or something. If you want to just strategize a little bit, I'd be happy to jump on for 25 minutes and just show you what I've been doing. So
Yeah.
otherwise, yeah, I mean, it's a great tool. Um, it's a great tool. So yeah.
This is great. This is so great. I came in with heat mapping and then we took a little skirt, which is good because if I feel like let me actually put it this way, the heat map would be like the front two wheels of the car, and SEO gets to be the back two wheels of the car because anything that you're driving traffic to requires content and consistency, especially with quality assurance. So this is definitely making a lot of sense for those who are going to start writing content on either side as well. So I'm going to dive into this link I put at the top, before we end the room today. But I want to make sure that we can, cover this topic so you can get to see how to use this for your business if you're not using it for your business. So welcome, Celeste. Good to have you here. Marcus, what's
What's up,
going
brother?
on, man? How you been, man?
Man, working hard and enjoying. I'm actually walking up to the office right now. So, SEO Gets, that's a tool. I just looked it up. I'm gonna, see what's up with that. I think, John, you spoke about a striker, short tail or long tail keyword. What was that you were saying?
Oh, it's called strike zone keywords. Like, you're in the strike zone. In other words, like, you're just about to hit the front page.
Got it. Okay. Okay. So yeah, strike zone keywords. Okay, that's a new one. I've heard of the short tail and the long tail, so strike zone keywords. I'm gonna have to add that one to my repertoire.
Yeah,
Um
man. Yeah.
the SEO, the heat mapping. I mean, crazy egg, hotjar. I mean, it's one thing to create a website, it's another thing to actually uh create a website and then care about the customer experience when they get there. A lot of people create websites and they be like, finish. You never finish with your website. I've been making money online since 2012. We have website meetings bi-weekly, and we've been making updates and edits and changing this and changing that and different this and different that for over a decade. So it never stops. You can always optimize your site. Most people do advertisement just for conversions, not for the data. And so what I think about when I think about CRO, you know what I'm saying, which is it just makes sense. Conversion rate optimization. So that means like it's easy to convert somebody to walk into your store or to come to your website, but what else you gonna get them to do after that? I think some people only get if 1,000 people visit your site, you might get 10 people to buy. But what about the other 990 people? You know what I'm saying? You don't want to talk to them again. You don't want to have a conversation with them again. You don't want to tell them happy birthday or hey, St. Patrick's Day is coming up. You know what I'm saying? So, you don't want to do those things. I'm sure you do. And so if that's the case, then, you want to optimize your website just for visitor foot traffic, but for the experience. So that's it. Crazy Egg, Hot Jar. I think those are important to add to your tool belt if you're creating a website. What the customers are doing when they come to your website, and then make those adjustments based on what the customer is clicking on, what they're scrolling on, and how long they're on certain pages. And then the last thing is one of the most important things you can have on your website is some type of pop-up or mail, subscribe to my email newsletter, some type of call to action where you can follow up, because that's where a lot of people kind of miss out on getting the money forever. They get the money, they get the transaction done, but they don't get the data to transact again in the future. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Marcus. That was spot on. Yes, Hotjar is amazing. Crazy Egg is amazing. Clarity is amazing. Like these tools are available, for everyone. And I feel like if we just install them, it's going to be much better. It's like putting a pixel on your website before you run an ad. Like those little things go a long way. But most people don't see that because it just feels like it's like, oh, it's a stick on. It's not really a stick on. It's something to help you convert at a better rate when you start putting out your content out there. So definitely, it's a big move to consider as well. Ryan and Mo, I saw y'all going off, and we'll go to Celeste as well. Did anyone want to say anything before we go to Celeste?
Yeah, I wanted to ask what I haven't used Hotjar or what's it called, Crazy Frog, in a long time. Like I've never used Crazy Frog. I've always used Hotjar, but it's been many years, and that was before Clarity existed. So, is there any advantage to using a service like Hotjar still, um, over a service like Clarity that's free?
So honestly, I've seen them all. So it's not Crazy Frog, it's Crazy Egg. Let me just make sure because it can be confusing. So it's Crazy Egg, and you can use it, right? I mean, the good thing with Crazy Egg is that of course you can get it. They actually don't even have a free plan. Yeah, they start at $29, and they're focusing on like heat map reports, storage. So if you look at what you're actually paying for, it's different when you look at the actual benefit, because honestly, if you're trying to get all these things, that's fine, right? You can definitely use the platform. People use Hotjar too, but there's some times when you think about your business, you don't want to overdo it to the point where it feels like now I need to pay for this service or pay for this subscription. Like if it's free, go for it first, and then if you want to pay for it in the future, fine. Because to me, Microsoft has been there. If you think about Microsoft from the beginning, they've been there. It's like Google Search Console giving you a free tool to use. Microsoft is giving you a free Clarity tool to use too. So I would use Clarity, and that's what I'm using, and that has worked because I mean it's free, and they also keep giving you updates on a regular basis. So if you're able to use it, connect your analytics, connect your website to it, then why not? That's what I would say on that as well. Mo, did you want to say something?
Yeah, yeah. I just want to amplify real quick on something that Marcus was saying. I was on a webinar yesterday with the Content Marketing Institute. They put up a couple graphs that kind of blew me away. Number one was 72% of consumers expect to find what they're looking for on your website right away. Like, so you have to keep that customer experience in mind to make the data easily accessible, right? And the other graphic was 57% of people will purchase from a competitor based off only one bad experience on your website. So keep that in mind as well. So I just wanted to drop that nugget.
Bingo. Thank you. Great, great nuggets. Because we got to know about these things. It's the more we know about them, the better we're able to connect. And it makes sense. Like you send an email to someone and say, hey, buy this product. When they click on that product, they should see the same thing on the website. They shouldn't see another page or a story or something that they didn't
They
expect.
shouldn't have to scroll and click to give you some money, man. It should be the least amount of clicks, the least amount of scrolling to give you some money. That's what it's all about.
Facts. Exactly. Celeste, what you thinking? Welcome to the room and good morning.
Good morning. Oh my gosh, I see Mo up at the top. I haven't seen him forever. Besides, he's always talking crap on Facebook. It's kind of funny. Go follow him. I friend him on Facebook. Anyways, as far as the subject, yes, I'm all about this. And Marcus, what you just said is so funny because I'll never forget. I was working with a client and they kind of came to me and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I went on the news and she sells basically like what do they call that? She sells like apparel for construction workers. There's a specific name, it's escaping me right now. But anyhow, she is a woman minority owned business and they highlighted her in the news for her apparel. And she's just like, oh my gosh, I was expecting all these sales and I didn't get any. So I was wondering if you could take a look at my website and blah blah blah. So she paid for a consultation with me, and I kind of felt bad because she paid me for it. Like I didn't look at it prior to. She just went on my site and like paid me, and I was like, okay, I'll go do some research. She basically didn't have like a buy button on her website for this apparel. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So sure enough, we looked at the date for her traffic between when she went in the news and then our consultation. And she had like, oh my gosh, at least 5,000 plus visitors, but they couldn't even buy anything because she didn't have any active buttons. I don't know how that happened. I think she tried to like, just put together a website last minute. And so that was like a huge missed opportunity. She also didn't, like Marcus said, she didn't have a pop-up to like, oh, subscribe to my newsletter or whatever. So that was just a huge missed opportunity. I feel like that's kind of like an anomaly situation, but the moral of the story is I know we're talking about SEO, but anytime you like have a big opportunity, you need to make sure you're going through your website like you're a consumer to make sure that you're not missing any big steps that they need to get to the CRO, converting, buying, checking out. I have so many stories, just like little tiny things that people miss because they're not going through their websites to make sure that all these things are good before they actually drive traffic. So that's all I wanted to say. But loving the room. Thanks so much for having me. I'm gonna go back to doing my little payroll, my least favorite activity. I'll pass the mic back to you, Favor.
Thank you, Celeste. Appreciate you so much. Yeah, these are horror stories that we have to think about because these things happen. And sometimes people are like, why I'm not getting sales? And you're like, the reason why is because this link is broken. This is a duplicate. This is not canonically named. This is not indexed correctly. This is tripwiring. It's a whole lot of things happening that is not beneficial to the brand, and it's hurting the brand more than it's helping the brand. So I think when you know how they say more money, more problems, more links, more. I say more kinks if I can put it like that, because there are so many things that you have to understand within the looks and crannies of your website, that the more links you're producing, let's say you produce 52 links in a year, that means every week you have at least one new link on the surface. That's going to increase your traffic, is going to increase your click-through rate, is going to increase your page depth, but it's also going to have a lot of things that are going to change in the planning of your business when it comes to people finding you, what you do, how you do things. If you have a Google Search Console listing and you look at your results and you realize you have 0 clicks, but you have good number of impressions, right? Anything from one and above is an impression because that's one person. It just takes one impression to make a lasting impression. So that one person that you might be ignoring might be the very person that you need to help you get business and connect with them. So that's why heat mapping is important. The pop-ups are important. Some people say pop-ups are not enjoyable, or I don't like pop-ups, but I'm like, think about Nike, Apple, Tesla, Disney, any company, name them. How many times do you see them run ads in front of you every day? So I don't think you've said enough to the enough people that 8 billion people have heard you enough over more than one time. So when you look at the scope of everything, kind of see like, okay, yes, if 50% are not going to opt in, then 50% are going to opt in. Think about the positivity on that. So Speaking of percentages, I want to break this down to you because I want to be able to give this to you and make sure you have an understanding before we close in 15 minutes. If you click the link above, this link will take you to an article that I wrote. When did I write this article? Let me open the link. This today is March 13th. So it was February 11th, right? It's a 2-minute read. So I'm going to read on the back end of this site, of this page. Is going to be live. We are live, but I'm going to do a live demonstration of this. So in the last 30 days, I want to tell you what's going on here on this page. And one of the things and I hope you learned something from this. What I learned is, and it's so underrated. If you try this as a business, it will work for your business. If you write articles, tables, tables, tables. When you put tables in your articles, that changes a lot of things. Comparison tables, factual tables, statistical tables, whatever you want to put in the table or on the table, put it there and let your table do the talking, right? Because when you're bringing that table to the table of conversations, if I can put it like that, then people are going to spend more time in those sections. So when I looked at this link in the last 30 days, I can see that the place that people spend the most time, people spent about 21 minutes, 36 seconds around the section when I started talking about comparisons between the AI video generators. So as soon as I started listing down the names of the, AI video generators like Sora, Runway, Descript, Wonderlust, not Wonderlust, I think it's Wondershare, Filmora, yeah, Consul, NVIDIA AI, Peach, there are many of them. Like just check the list out. You realize that when you're looking at that list, people are also looking for information from that section. So people spent about 21 minutes and the session length was about 4%. That's really high. So for someone to spend 21 minutes on average, it means that they were clicking on the hyperlinks, checking out the website, they'll click on the other one, they spend time on that website on a new tab. This is what they're doing. This is the activity going on. This is a demonstration. They're clicking on the link, they're spending time, maybe 2 minutes on one site, maybe they might spend 5 minutes on another site, then they might leave my tab open, go sign up on another site, maybe sign up to their free trial, and then they'll come back maybe 10 minutes later after they've signed up. Now, that time is ticking. Remember back in the day when I don't think people do this anymore. I don't, but I used to do this when, like, back in the day when Facebook was back on. Back then you put on your computer, and then you'd keep your chat status online all day, and because your tab is open with Facebook all day, so you could be online, but you're not at your desk, you're not at your computer. But Facebook wise, it says you're online, and people used to do that a lot because they would just leave their Facebook on because they know when they get back, they're going to see somebody and connect with them. So Facebook was getting that screen time, that watch time, that time spent, that page session, right? That is a lot of information that gives intel to those platforms. So it's the same thing with your website, the same thing with your business. When you start thinking about the people who are spending time on your site and how much they're spending, you're like, oh, okay, they're spending a lot of time on this section of the website. That means that if I'm writing information that they're not even reading, then who's reading it? The bots, the algorithm. But are the people reading it? That's a big question. So, how do you figure this out? If I was to optimize my own page, right? And I was saying, okay, what can I do to make this page better? The one thing that I would do to make this page better would be to add a table of contents. Why? Because if somebody is reading for almost 21 minutes on this section, the thing about people is that online, including myself, a lot of us, right? The average time human time span online is 8 seconds. It's probably less now. This was a study done by the Washington Post. This was done a while back. So I am sure the time span has gone even less now. So if someone's spending minutes on your website, not even seconds, then that's a great thing. So if they're spending that kind of time, then they'll go to your website, they read what they want, they go. But they didn't know at the back of that that corner store, there's an ice cream truck or there's an ice cream bar. There's an ice cream fill in the blank because I didn't know that. Why didn't I know that? Because it wasn't in my table of contents. All I saw was this cookies and cream in front of me, and I didn't see the ice cream at the back. So when you look at your table of contents, people don't just go to your website and just hang out. They go there because they're looking for information and they leave. That's why they're called visitors, right? So they are visiting either as a new visitor or as a returning visitor. So if you realize that this is the hardest section of your website, guess what? Put a section to tell them, hey, if you want more information like this, put a ribbon, like an inline embedded code that allows you to get their information, their name and their email. You can do something like that. So that's where you're like, okay, this is the hardest zone of my page. Let me put this on because I know at this point someone may leave and they may not come back. So that's how you start focusing on creating intention with heat mapping, right? There's the click, there's scroll, there's attention, and there's area. I was focusing on attention. If you look at the scroll, you realize on this article, all the way to the very bottom of this article, people reached there were about 45.45% users. That means out of 100%, I was able to have a lot of people connecting because people stayed at the website. They now scrolled all the way down. By the time it got to 50%, it didn't even get to, let me see. Yeah, it got to 50%. Yeah, it got to 50% at the frequently asked questions section. So majority of people have already looked for what they want. They don't want to read frequently asked questions. They want to know what the best AI video generators are. So when you're giving people what they want, that's how you're able to now understand, okay, people are on this side of the page, people on this side of the page. Oh, they're not scrolling. Okay, they're scrolling. If they're scrolling, where are they scrolling and how are they scrolling? What are they clicking on? If they click on that, like for me, I'm looking at it right now, I'm seeing that the one that they clicked on the most is in video AI. Why? Because that's probably what they're used to. They probably never heard the others before, like LTX Studio or Beyond. People don't know about those platforms. So when you start realizing that people are using your articles to learn more about their businesses, it changes everything. So use a heat map for free by Microsoft Clarity to set up your website and start giving people information and then go into the back end. You can do this every month, every quarter, and learn from them. Get to know what are they clicking on. If they like tables, then make tables part of your format, part of your template. Because if it's working, why, if it ain't broken, why fix it? If it's not broken, why are you fixing it? So you have to try putting into that perspective of learning how to connect to people like that. And then eventually you get to know, okay, people like this section, they don't like this section, or I need to do better in this section, or have a table of contents so that they can now have a better reaction or a better response to the show, which would be either on your website or on your podcast. It could be anywhere. So this is how to use your heat map, and this is how to do it correctly. John, Mo, Celeste, what are your thoughts? Have you tried this out? What do you think? Any additions, suggestions? Feel free.
The only thing I'm just gonna always double down on, if you're using a heat map or even if you're just seeing where your traffic is going, please just make it easy for people to buy things. I was actually this is like a whole kind of big debate, but oh my gosh, my toddler. Um, I don't want to change the subject. We should talk about this in another room. But you know how there's like all these boycotts going on, and a lot of people are trying to boycott Amazon. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so hard for me because like the convenience of Amazon is just something that I'm very used to, like getting things very fast, very easily. And I think as especially small business owners, we need to keep in mind that like the e-com landscape is so different that it's hard for your customers to check out, hard for them to find what they're looking for. You are going to increase the chances exponentially of them going to places like Amazon or going to your competitor if you do not make it, easy and convenient for your customers to buy. So I wanted to end with that.
Thank you, Celeste. Yeah, there has to be a way for someone to connect with you. That story you mentioned about them not, clicking buy, is the scariest part, especially for e-commerce. Yeah, let me say it like this: if you have an e-commerce platform, if you sell products on a website and you're not putting in a heat map, it's going to be hard for you to know what people are actually looking at when they're scrolling through and actually trying to buy products from your store. It's a major missed opportunity if you don't look at it that way. So I'm just mentioning this now. Try install it. If you don't know how to do that, you can Google it, you can YouTube it. If you need to be helped out, then feel free to click the link in the description or just click the link above here in the room. And that way you can get on a call with me. We talk about it for 20 minutes and we get to see how to get your website secured, because people are paying for a lot of things, subscriptions, tools, which is great. But if these things are not yielding and you can save money in the long run, it helps. Next week, I'm about to help a client. We're about to start off and help a client. She's about to save, let me do the math really quickly, times 12. She's about to save $8,400 on marketing because she's using a platform that's taking about close to $700 a month because she has a big email list. And I'm about to bring her down from 8,400 all the way to about $400 a year, at least, even without my coupon code. With the coupon, it's about 200 for the same amount of emails, the same amount of subscribers, which are in the thousands, tens of thousands, and you're not spending an arm and a leg. And most people are doing that. Businesses are doing that because they don't know where to go. So that's why when I talk about these platforms, I'm like, hey, check out Flowdesk. Connect with me, get your 50% off, and start today. People may start tomorrow or start next year, but imagine what you'd have spent and saved if you're able to do things differently. So I'm seeing things happen and people are actually changing. Yes, Wendy, I love Flowdesk too. It's just a place that you can really help people understand all the formulas, all the things that go into play, and it's helping. It's seriously helping. I just also connected with a client. Another one, she moved from Klaviyo to Flowdesk. She had about less than 4,000 subscribers. In our first month, she was able to get 1,000 subscribers. In the first month of moving over to Flowdesk, now we're running ads, and we just shifted the gears because I did some tweaking last week, and now she's like, this past week she's generated 5 grand just by tweaking some things. It's a Shopify store, but there's some things with SEO that if you don't convert correctly, if you don't send out the right emails, if you don't segment, there's some things if you just don't do, you won't get what you're looking for. But if you do the right things the right way, you'll be okay. And it just takes a little bit of tweaking. It's like your car. Once you just change this little thing, like a pit stop in a Grand Prix racing, right? Anything that you do is very minimal, but that minimalistic thing can be a huge detriment, positively or negatively, to your business. So it's up to you to decide how you want to rock that boat. So I'm really excited that we talked about heat mapping today. And what's up, ZZ? You always come into the room at the end. It's like ZZ, like, let's go. ZZ's always coming in, but I appreciate you so much. It's a great day. It's a great Thursday. How are you, ZZ? What's going down?
Oh my goodness, I am doing great. I came in at the last minute. I was doing a check-in with the women in business that I was like, I promised someone I was going to do it. And so I had to take care of it. You know how I am, Favor. I'm like, if I made a promise, it's going to happen. But I'm so happy I was able to hear your voice. And everyone, if you are not already logged in with Favor, you need to make sure you're logging in with him. He is definitely a man who knows what he's talking about. The knowledge and expertise is just absolutely incredible. And when I send people in here or send people to your website or to your Instagram or LinkedIn, they're like, "ZZ, thank you so much. Like, how did you know? How did you know about him?" So yeah, I love being able to use Favor as a reference, a resource for people. And I'm looking around the room. We have so many incredible people in here. Celeste, woman, I had to say hi. I did. That's another incredible source. And Wendy and Austin, so many incredible people. Sherry, I see you. Oh my goodness, I want to go down the list, Favor, but I just wanted to say hi. I'm complete.
Hey, Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Everyone loves you. We do. It's such a great time that, we're sharing here and we're connecting. So appreciate you for all the kind words and the flowers. You're amazing too, ZZ. And I know a lot of people, listen to you, trust you, and that's why they depend on, information that you give because there's so much value that if they hear from you, they're like, okay, that saved me 2 hours. That saved me 2 months. That's something that we definitely love to hear, and saving is key in 2025 for sure. Mo, you wanted to say something about tables immediately, expeditiously before we go.
Yeah, man. Ever since you said it, right, I was like, you know what? That's fucking genius right there, right? So ever since you said it, I've been messaging my business manager back and forth. I'm like, hey, going forward on every piece of content that we put out, we're gonna need a table on it, right? We're gonna need a table on every article, every email, um, whatever we put out, we're gonna have to slide a table in. We're gonna see how this works. And then I was thinking about it, and then I went to your site, right? And I was looking at it, and it's a magnet for sure because the table forces them to pay attention to that spot because it's a comparison, right? You got to check, what's in column A, column B, column C, column D, and then row 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? You got to look at all of that. So it's guaranteed to grab their focus once you throw that table up there, and I was like, that's perfect. That's perfect right there. We need to start this right now, not tomorrow, not yesterday, nothing, right? And I might even go back and revamp some of the content we've already put out just to throw a table in it and see what it does. So thanks for that tip, brother. You always drop something that I could always implement right away.
Thank you, Mo. Appreciate you. Yeah, I'm glad you're taking action, and that's what I love to hear because I don't want to be the only one doing this. I feel like we can all do this. Like we're all given the ability to do this, and if we can do it together, the better it is. Like imagine adding 52 tables a year to your website. 52 tables a year, one table per story, per comparison, per chart, definition, example, da 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 da. Before you know it, you got a lot of tables in the room, and a lot of people can sit on those tables, and then you got a lot of traffic. Like, I don't know. My science brain goes crazy. So I just feel like if you do this and connect the dots, then the mathematics would not be as algebra as you may think it could be. It may just be an ABC, but it may not look like it until you try. So don't knock it till you try it, and try it out and then see if it works for you. But if you get stuck, you always know where to find me. Connect with me here on Clubhouse, or if you want a private conversation, then click the link above, answer the questions, and we can get on a call and get you started. Because that's how we start, and we do it correctly. Because if we do these things, it will just help you and your business. We're just here to help more businesses get seen because a lot of money is being spent in the wrong places, especially ads. And if you spent ads correctly, you'd be making more money today than you were. I today, just before we go, I've been running an ad. I woke up this morning and we hit 500 clicks. Now it's 510 clicks at 15 cents per click, and we've spent $77.64. For that to happen, a lot had to happen. So I won't go too much into the detail of what's happening, but if you do this for yourself, you can definitely go a long way and spend less money and make more impact. So you can save more money and give more time so that you can connect to more people over time. So really appreciate you for being here today in the room. Respect, Mike. Thank you as well for being here. Thank you, John, Mo, Zizi, Ryan, Mrs. Wise, Austin, Wendy, Militia, Shari, Justice, Chris, Richard, Mike, Val, Jay, Shay, A. David Black, Nick, and ZZ Bot. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Hope you're having a great day. Tomorrow we're going to be here. I'm going to be here with Brian at 3 p.m. Central. We're going to be doing YouTube versus Pinterest, an audit and a strategy. So me and him are going to be going deep into Pinterest and YouTube. For those who have those platforms, be here tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central, wherever you are. We'll stay connected and let's make this a great time. So love you all. God bless you. It's been great. It's been real. Stay hydrated and stay safe. I'm going to see you guys soon and have a great day. Bye for now.